Welcome back to What Arty Noobs with General Disturbance. We've got a Type 5 Keiho here, which is a Tier 4 Japanese light tank. It's located on the southwest spawn of Glacier, and it's under the command of ProvoBob. And we've got yet another double header. Same tank, same player on the same map. So two battles in the Keiho on different times. One battle took place 5 hours before the other. This is the first of the battles, and we'll see how ProvoBob gets on. It's a 57mm gun, which is capable of 75 alpha, penetrating 87mm with standard AP, and with premium AP it'll go up to 131. And he's also got some HE rounds that will do 100 alpha, but they'll only penetrate up to 29mm of armor. So it's the last of the Japanese light tanks. Originally the Type 95 Hargo was out of date or obsolete by 1944, so they came up with a redesign, a new tank, but it never got put into production before the end of the war. This is the design they came up with, a little light tank very much in the same vein as the Light Viz 38, so it was actually a fairly obsolete tank even when it was built. A very light tank indeed. But of course, as you know, the Light Viz 38, the Czech tank, was actually the chassis upon which the Hetzer and the Panzer 38T and numerous other tanks were designed on. It's a fairly reliable chassis. Didn't tend to break down. Fairly reliable. In fact, a lot of the tanks you see invading into the Soviet Union were Czech tanks and other tanks which were easy to make because, well, they didn't worry about losing. And he did have an outline on that Panzer 3E, but he's lost it again. So somebody's not spotting that guy. And we're getting that reticule drift to the right, even though he is actually firing straight towards the aim point. And he's just killed the Panzer 3E. Now, apparently, the way that the reticule moves to the right is actually something to do with wargaming. They actually changed this in the game, and the reason it drifts is because obviously the vehicle that you're aiming at is unspotted, but it can see that there's another tank somewhere else, and obviously the reticule's trying to drift in the direction of a spotted tank. Well, that's another kill, and in fact the kill was the Light Viz 38, which the Keiho is based on. I say it's based on, it's not really based on, but it's a similar sort of tank. Now he's using the bush mechanic on that Type 91, but he might be spotted. Is Sixth Sense gone off? No. And the tank gets away. Now there are a number of bots in this game. As usual, ProvoBob's on the Australian-New Zealand server. And at certain times of the day, yes, there's very few players, in which case they have to have bots. If they didn't have bots, they wouldn't be able to play the game at all, because there just wouldn't be enough players to make up a team. And so that's why you're playing against bots, because Wargaming has to put them in to make the game viable. And we've got engine noise at last. Yes, unfortunately Wargaming really screwed up in one of their updates, and that's why we lose engine sound. Now, he was firing at a T-28, but we've lost sight of them again. Just see the top of the turret of that Matilda, and he just took rounds from a Cruiser Mark IV. He's lost his engine and his driver. The thing about the Cruiser Mark IV is it does pump out 4 rounds very, very quickly. And if those rounds do hit the target, you lose a lot of hit points. He lost 103 to the Cruiser Mark IV in the second volley. So I think that was 2 shots that hit almost one after the other. 61 hit points off the first one. I think that was just 1 shot on its own. There's a Cruiser Mark IV. Oh, it's a Mark III, sorry. And that one's down. Now the Cruiser Mark III was a bot, that's probably why he didn't respond. The Mark III making its way across the lake. Pretty sure that that's a real player, but let's have a check. Yes, it is. In fact, it was an M3 Lite. Ah, now the Matilda, that's a real player. So he needs to be careful about that one because he can't penetrate the armour without using the special rounds. A bit of difficulty otherwise. Or at least I think he can actually, might be able to penetrate it with standard rounds. Well, yes, he can, so long as the guy's not angled. Oh, now this is juicy target. T28, but just hasn't got the alpha to take him down with a couple of shots. Oh, left him on just 11 hit points. And the kill shot goes to the T6 medium. But there's still 3 enemy tanks out there. That Matilda, a T10, a 10TP, and the M3 Lite. Only one of them's a bot. That's the 10TP. Now he's out right on the middle of the ice sheet. The Matilda's behind us. And the M3 Lite is over in the northwest corner. Now it looks to me like the Matilda's headed back this way. So ProvoBob's decided to get round the other side of him and try and catch him from an angle which he's not expecting. Kind of an ambush. He hasn't loaded the premium rounds yet. There he is. Got him by the rear. Tracks him. Now he really ought to use the premium rounds and keep that guy immobilized. He's... Oh, another pen. Yeah, he's getting them in. But he's having to chase the M3. And the M3's after the guys who are capping. He's just not interested in ProvoBob. And that's going to cost him loads of hit points, possibly the game. Oh, and he went down the cliff. He wasn't paying attention to what he was doing, and now he takes a round from the Matilda and he doesn't get the kill. And the enemy base has been captured, so it's all game over. Let's have a look at the second battle. And here is the second game, starting on the same spawn point in the same tank, same player. Well, let's see how he gets on in this one. Now, is he going to go to the same spot again? Well, this time round he's got a T28 for company. Not sure that T28 though is going to exactly the same spot that ProvoBob's headed for. There is some bots in this game. In fact, ProvoBob seems to get a lot of them. But, I think he has got the T28 for company. Yep, he's definitely coming in this direction. Okay, well, he's making his way up on top of the path, the perimeter road. T28 slightly quicker than he is, so he might try to get past him. And in fact, actually, the M15 has asked to platoon with ProvoBob, but he hasn't responded yet. I think that's because he put out a general desire to platoon with anyone, and it's actually platooned with 2 other players. Okay, ProvoBob stopped, and the T28's trying to get past him. Yeah, he's urging him on. Oh, now that's unhelpful. The T28's decided he's going to go on, and he's met some enemy. And the Stug 3B just takes out a T70 with a derp. ProvoBob saw somebody down below, but didn't get a chance to shoot. Now, what's he doing here? No. Ah. Now, there's an enemy there, a Chiha, and he's found a Type 91 as well. Now, he's using the bush mechanic, trying to use the trees, but he was spotted. And I think that Chiha knows he's here, but it's a bot. So the Hetzer further up is not making a move on T28 yet. He's given enough of the gap. Was it really enough gap? Not quite enough gap for the Stug to get through. Unfortunately, this particular area would not give him the gun depression to get on that Hetzer. It's not the best position to be in. At least the Stug's got ahead of him. And he might still be able to get shots on the Chiha and company. Ah, BT7 Art. Now that's a real player, that one. I suspect his engine's out. He's not moving and he's probably lost his driver. He's probably panicking, not realising what he needs to do next. And now he's dead. Okay, Chiha. A lot of blind firing here. Unfortunately, we just lost the Stug to a Hetzer. And Type 91. Now that's a bot. Yep. And the T-28's managed to kill the Hetzer. But he's lost sight of the Type 91. There's an enemy Keyhoe down on the ice shelf right in the centre of the lake. I think he's decided the best thing he can do is actually return back to his cap area, or near his cap area, to take care of that Keyhoe. Don't think he can actually hit him from this angle because there's a rock in between. I think he's looking at that. Now he can hit the Keyhoe. He's come up onto the rise. There he is. He might get spotted. But oh, just missing. The Keyhoe is a real player and he managed to pull back just in time to avoid getting taken out with the next shot. Well, it's good news that Hetzer's gone because that was a definite risk. The Hetzer with a derp gun was actually a real player. But there's still a few enemies there nearby. A Chiha, which is a bot. A Panzer 38T, which is a real player. And the Type 91, which is also a bot. Now he's turned around and he's headed back around the perimeter road. The T-28's very low on hit points now. Only 10 left. Yeah, I think he's been engaging some of the enemy tanks, trying to push that wreck back so he's got enough room. ProvoBob needs to squeeze through that gap. There's an enemy firing up at him here. Okay, what has he got? Type 91. Kill with one shot. Yep, got him. Now, can he see the tank that's actually firing back up here? There it is. There's a Keyhoe down there and a T6 medium. The T6 is probably the one that was killing the T-28. Let's have a look. Was it the T-28? No, it was the Panzer 38T that killed the T-28. And that's a live tank. That is a real player. 2 shots he's taken. Oh. Remember, the Keyhoe is based on the same sort of tank as this one. He's taking a lot of damage, but he will kill the guy. Okay, he's lost a lot of hit points, but he's still got 218 left, which is basically about a third. You see, the reload time is actually fairly fast. It's 2.3 seconds, but it is a 57mm gun, which is slightly better than a 2-pounder. 2-pounder is really about 40mm, but it's on the 2-pounder on the Matilda, actually, that he's firing at the T6 medium, who's out of sight at the moment, so he's trying to blind shoot somebody who's too far away. Yes, the Matilda with the squeeze bore, the Little John adapter, is capable of squeezing a 40mm round into a 30mm round. Now, the Keyhoe's got a 57mm gun, which is slightly more powerful than the gun you get on the Light Viz 38 or the Panzer 38T that we just encountered. And that's why he was able to do more damage to that tank than could be done the other way around. And it looks like that T6 medium is now capping. So he's making his way back to reset the cap, because I think the only other player on his team, the M15, is, well, he's the same distance away than we are, but he is headed back towards the edge. ProvoBob's probably got more experience than he has, so he should be able to get a reset. Oh, just came across an enemy. And I'm not sure, it's the T6. Oh, now that means that it's possibly the Valentine that's capping. Now, he can see it. Oh, it's a Panzer IIIe. Lovely. He gets a critical hit, resets the cap. He can finish this guy off using the Bush mechanic. He's earned enough to get a high caliber. 20% of the enemy hit pool. Lost sight of the target, so he pulls forward to see him. One more shot. Oh, that guy's firing the 20mm. Okay, needs to turn around and deal with the T6 medium, who's just killed our M15, so ProvoBob's the last one alive on his team. Gets one in. Yes! Got the kill. And that means there's only 2 left on the enemy team. A Valentine AT and a Valentine tank. Now, the Valentine was last seen northwest corner of the map. And we don't know where the Valentine AT is, but he's probably at the enemy cap area. Now, I just heard a shot land. You hear that clunk, or that sound of a round hitting the ground or a rock. So I'm pretty sure the Valentine is fairly close and was firing in this direction. But ProvoBob's now gone unspotted. And lo and behold, there is the guy who was actually firing at us. And he gets around into the turret. Lucky shot there. Go for the weak spot. Gets it. And takes down the Valentine to get a top gun. So potential high caliber and a top gun now. Crushes the Hurricane to death. Now there's only one enemy remaining, the Valentine AT. I wonder if he's going to sit here in ambush and wait for the Valentine to turn up. Or is he going to go to the enemy cap area and try and cap out? The thing about the Valentine AT is it could potentially have the 6-pounder gun, which can do a lot of damage. So he probably wants to stay here and wait for the other guy to come to him. Although the Valentine AT is based on the Valentine tank, it's a very slow tank. So it might take that guy ages to turn up here. And if he's trying to do what ProvoBob's trying to do and waiting in ambush, then we could end up with a draw where both players are sitting at their own respective caps waiting for the enemy to turn up and nobody arrives. Okay, this is another smart move to make, is to change position so the enemy doesn't expect to see you from this direction. The enemy's going to be looking towards the spot where he was last seen, and of course then he can attack from a different direction. He hasn't got any binos, so he can't look, but he is a light tank, so he has got light tank camo, and so he should be able to see the enemy before the enemy sees him. The enemy is a tank destroyer. They don't have as good view range as light tanks do. I'm glad that he is actually taking the initiative to actually go to the enemy cap, find the enemy and shoot them, or cap out. Those games where you sit behind at your own cap waiting for the enemy to turn up and they never arrive, wasted opportunity. Mind you, if you do get ambushed, then you've got nobody to blame but yourself. Here we go. Does the sixth sense go off as he goes around the corner? If it does, the enemy sees him and is waiting for him. So, okay, no sixth sense has gone off, so he's not in sight of the enemy. He might want to go through the woods at the back before going to the cap area. He's barely got enough time to do that. just enough time. But it's better to do that than go into the cap and the enemy turns up after he gets to 70 capture points to seize a defender medal and of course kill ProvoBob and win the game. There's the 2-minute siren, so he has to get into the cap in the next 20 seconds or he will be unable to cap out and will have to go and find the enemy. He has got enough time to get to the cap. Quickly, 5 seconds, 4 seconds, 3 seconds. Oh, it's the enemy! And he's got him by the ass. Oh, this is going to be a reaming. He's aiming for the drive. Yeah, there's no way that guy can defend himself. He can take his time and finish the guy off. In fact, actually, he's now going for the gun shield. That's it. Not a lot that guy can do. Did it! Perfect. So let's have a look at the end of battle stats for both games. Well, in the first game he managed to get an ace tanker. In fact, not just any old ace tanker. This was his first one for the Giho, the Type 5 Giho. He managed to get a fire for effect, a sharpshooter, a master gunner and a bruiser medal out of the game. He also picked up the high caliber for dealing the most damage in that game overall, and his win rate from the battle was 13,350, which is quite high. But he's getting very good results, I think, in part because there are some bots out there. Let's have a look at the team score. 2,283 hit points of damage. The next high scorer was the T6 Medium on his own team, who got a top gun with 1,440. So he was also taking advantage of the bots. Two of the enemy players, the M3 Lite and the Matilda, were also fairly good. They got a hefty amount of hit points as well from the bots. And when it came to kills, it was the T6 Medium did the best with 6 kills. ProvoBob got 3 kills alongside the M3 Lite on the enemy team. And when it came to base XP, it was ProvoBob with 849, 736 to the T6 Medium, and then 611 goes to the M3 Lite on the enemy team. He fired 44 rounds, got 36 direct hits and 31 penetrations. Damage of 2,283 hit points, of which 1,145 were up more than 300 meters. He earned 39,424 credits from the game and 1,273 experience points. If we look at the second game, we can see that that was also an ace tanker. And in fact, actually, you can see now that both games were actually only a short time apart. Yes, this game took place on the 16th of October at 15:49, and the next game took place the same date, but at 22:19, so 7 hours later he played this game, and he got an ace tanker on this one, fire for effect bruiser, but this time round he got a high caliber, a top gun, and a defender as well, and his win rate was much higher, 24,728 from this one. If we look at the team score again, we can see, yes, he's right at the top of the table, 2,159 hit points. The next high scorer being T6 Medium on the enemy team, who got a top gun and 1,861 hit points, but he only got 6 kills. ProvoBob got 7. When it came to base XP, he was the highest, and this time round he was over 1,000 with 1,054 base, and the next high scorer was the T6 with 569. When it came to shots, he fired 62, got 46 direct hits, 33 penetrations, damage of 2,159 hit points, of which 934 were at more than 300 meters, so most of his damage at long range. He earned 15,867 credits. Yes, he did spend some APCR in this game to make sure that he hit the targets and got the pens. And he also earned 1,581 XP, which is actually slightly less, I believe, than the last one, if I remember correctly. So I'll just go back and we'll have a quick look at that. 1,500. Oh, it's actually, no, it's slightly more. He did earn slightly more this time than in the last time. Yes, 1,273 on that one, and on this one 1,581. So slightly better, but slightly less credits earned because he did expend some premium ammo. So 2 pretty good games in the Type 5 Giho, the Tier 4 Japanese Light. In fact, it's the last of the Japanese light tanks. They don't build anymore after this one at Tier 4. They're all medium tanks or heavy tanks further up the line. but it was a fairly decent game. So if you're on the Australian and New Zealand server, it's fairly easy to play bots. If you're on the NA server, you can always pop over to the South American one at tier 4 and play on that server. At certain times of night, yes, you're going to come across the same situation with maybe 2 or 3 live players and the rest of them will be bots, and so you can reproduce the same conditions that ProvoBob's getting. But yes, the Type 5, it's quite a neat little tank. It's actually got a fairly good gun, decent penetration, and well, ProvoBob seems to make quite a good game of it. If you enjoyed those 2 replays, please give this video a like, do subscribe to our channel, and thanks for watching.